Given the persistent reports of serious human rights violations and abuses we continue to receive, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Michelle Bachelet has stressed the need for an objective, independent assessment of the facts on the ground in the Tigray region of Ethiopia. Deeply distressing reports of sexual and gender-based violence, extrajudicial killings, widespread destruction and looting of public and private property by all parties continues to be shared. Credible information also continues to emerge about serious violations of international human rights law and humanitarian law by all parties to the conflict in Tigray from November last year. Without prompt, impartial, and transparent investigations, we fear that the violations will continue to be committed with impunity, and the situation will remain volatile for a long time to come. The UN Human Rights Office has been receiving information about ongoing fighting across the region, particularly in the center of the Tigray region, as well as incidents of looting. Reliable sources have shared information about killings of 8 protesters by security forces between the 9th and the 10th of February in Adigrat, Mekelle, Shire, and Wukro. More than 136 cases of rape have also been reported in hospitals in Mekelle, Eider, Adigrat, and Wukro in the east of the Tigray region between December and January, with indications that there are many more such unreported cases. We've also managed to corroborate information about some of the incidents that occurred in November last year, indicating indiscriminate shelling in Mekelle, Homera, and Adigrat towns in the Tigray region, and reports of grave human rights violations and abuses, including mass killings in Aksum and Dengelat in central Tigray by Eritrean armed forces. A preliminary analysis of the information received indicates that serious violations of international law, possibly amounting to war crimes and crimes against humanity, may have been committed by multiple actors, including the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, the Tigray People's Liberation Front, Eritrean armed forces, and Amhara regional forces and affiliated militia. With multiple actors in the conflict, blanket denials, and finger-pointing, there is a clear need for an objective, independent assessment of these reports. Victims and survivors of these violations must not be denied their rights to the truth and to justice. We urge the government of Ethiopia to grant our office and other independent monitors access to the Tigray region. The High Commissioner has also expressed concern at the detentions this week in Tigray of journalists and translators working for local and international media. While the journalists have now been released, there have been worrying remarks by a government official that those responsible for misleading international media would be held responsible. Victims and witnesses of human rights violations and abuses must not be hindered from sharing their testimony for fear of reprisals, the High Commissioner has stressed. The High Commissioner has welcomed recent statements by the government on accountability and measures taken on access for humanitarian actors. We urge the authorities to ensure that those commitments are translated into reality.